PetrowareD's Accounts Payable module utilizes the most advanced technology to enable the fastest training possible for data entry and review. In just a few simple steps, allocate your invoices at any level, including lease, well, or specific owner. And with automatic breakdowns, our powerful solution increases flexible entry and saves you time. Let's take a closer look at this module.
In the accounts payable portion of PetrowareD, we can do anything from entering an AP invoice, posting that invoice, generating standard invoices, voiding checks, printing manual checks, and anything that you see on our menu here. Let's go into our AP invoice section where we're going to create a brand new invoice. Pressing enter all the way across, we're going to input our invoice number. We're going to input our invoice date. We're going to select our vendor as B&E Roustabout. That lookup was very simple and nice. You will note that this field being blank also creates the areas of the screen for wells to be grayed out at the bottom until we put in a production date. In this case, I'm going to put the end of February of this year. Then those fields below become available. Up to that point, it believes that this is just a standard G&A expense. Now we're going to come in here and say the total of this invoice is maybe $5,000. Now on this invoice, I'm going to book a portion of it to a well and portion of it to a lease. So right now it says, hey, I defaulted to your Roustabout account, but of course we could change it, put it to any account that we'd like. We also can put a description in for this line on our JIB. So first of all, I'm going to book it to a well. I'm going to book it to the Burgess #1 well. It's going to automatically default to the correct division order deck by the date. It knows that automatically. We're going to also double click on share here, and let's say that we're going to make this for $2,000 of this invoice. That's the first line item we're going to put in. The next line item that I want to put in, it defaults to the same account in case we want to keep it. Also the same description, but this time we might want to make it different. So by making that different, then this time I'm actually going to select to book it to a lease. And what lease do I want to book it to? You may not notice that, but this is different than our other lookup we had a moment ago, and I could save it at this point. So I've got $3,000 booked to the lease. I have $2,000 booked to the individual Burgess well. Now, what does it do at this lease level? If we open in our master files our division of interest file and we select the Burgess lease master, we can see that it's going to split the cost on the Burgess that we've allocated at this level to the Burgess #1 and the Burgess #2, equally 50% each. Allocation decks can be set up a multitude of ways, either by volumes or percentages, and you can have some that include part of the wells on the lease and exclude part of the wells on the lease. A perfect example of that would be a tank battery where the oil wells and gas wells are all on the same property, but we don't want the gas wells to share in the expenses. Let's do a quick little example of an AP report. My favorite report in accounts payable is also one of the largest ones. It's called the AP Invoice Edit List. This particular report, based on the parameters that pull up in the screen, will give you the ability to begin and end with any date. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to show us everything beginning with last year, regardless of whether they were paid or outstanding. We can also ask it for a particular lease, a particular well, a particular vendor, and many other criterias. This report is going to pull to the screen as all reports in PetrowareD do. I'm going to minimize this so I can drag it into my screen to show you. You will also note that these reports by vendor are over here on the left-hand side of my screen, and I can automatically page to those for B&E Roustabout, and I can see all of those invoices. You can resize anything, you can make it viewable larger to the viewer. As I get older, this has become much more important to me. You can also see those invoices that have been paid, these that are outstanding. Please note that it brought both of my line items in on my transaction for me. It shows me the account that they were booked to, not just by number, but also by name, and what properties that also went to. It's a very nice auditing system for these reports. You'll also note that there are many AP reports on the screen. I think most of our clients find that they use anywhere from 4 to 6 reports monthly, and then the rest they may only use on a quarterly basis.
Automatically allocating expenses to a lease, well, or investor, as well as allocating costs to joint billed accounts are just a few key features. The PetrowareD Accounts Payable module offers even more functionality. Contact Avatar Systems today for a full product demonstration.